So in this video, I'll show you how to create a workspace with the volume profile and how to set up your volume profile. So you go to workspaces, you go new, we create a new workspace. Let's call it volume profile workspace. And now we need to create a chart. So we go to new chart. Let's go, for example, for euro-dollar, press enter. Let's go for a 30-minute chart and let's load 60 days of 30-minute chart. Press OK. Alright, so now I'll maximize the window. This is the euro-dollar 30-minute chart, and now we need to add the volume profile to the chart. So you right-click the chart and you go to indicators, and now you need to search in this list of available indicators. So let's go for Trader Dale. Here we go, fixed volume profile and flexible volume profile. So let's start with the fixed volume profile. Double click it, and now on the right side here is the setting for the indicator. The standard setting is this one, so I'm going to apply this standard setting. And now you can see it's calculating and it will show up in a moment. Alright, so here we go. The profile is loaded. Those are daily profiles. And let's go back to the indicator setting. So right click the chart, go to indicators. And now we can change the default settings of the indicator. So the first thing we can change is the data period, which is a pretty important thing. This data period tells you how often you get the information about volumes. So in this case, I'm getting the volume data every 10 seconds. You can set it up, for example, for ticks. The most precise you can get is this setting. Every tick the price makes, you'll get volume data for the given tick. This is the most precise volume information you can get, but also it takes a lot of your computer power and it takes a lot of time to load. So you always want to find some compromise. So that's why I had the default setting set for seconds and for 10 seconds. I think that's more than enough, and that's basically the setting I use for my intraday trading, and that's basically the settings you can start with. You can set it up, for example, for minutes, which is good, for example, if you do swing trading, looks like this. If you go to seconds, you can see that it's calculating. It will take some time to load. It will look like this. Maybe you don't see the difference, but the information you are getting is more precise. So you always set this setting based on what you want to do, whether you want to go for intraday trading or for swing trading. I'll look into this more when I'll be creating workspaces for intraday trading and for swing trading. For now, let's just leave it at 10 seconds. Now, the next thing you can change is the histogram color. This is the default color, but you can change it, for example, to this color. It doesn't really matter. The next thing you can change is the histogram opacity. Currently it's at 0.2. If I change it, for example, to 0.8, it will look like this. Alright. And the next thing is the side the profile will show on. So currently it's showing on the left side of the day. Those are daily profiles, so every day starts with the profile. If you change it to the right, then the profile will show on the right side of the given day. With the behind bar setting, you can set whether the profile will show behind the price action bars or if it will be like this. I personally prefer to have it behind bars, so I can see the bars clearly. Now, those were just visual things, but the range size and the calculation type, also the profile period, are very important things. So let's start with the range size. So if you click it, you can choose how detailed the profile will be. So currently we are at medium. So if we go to small, then you can see that the profile is more detailed. If we go to mini, then it will be even more detailed. And on the other hand, if we go, for example, to large, then it will be less detailed. It will be faster, the profile will work faster, it will load faster, but it will be less detailed. What I would like to say is that it's not always best to use the most detailed profiles. Not only that they load slower, but also you sort of get lost in the details. You don't really need to see that many details in profile like this. I personally prefer it like this or like this. So you see the most important volume peaks in the profile, but you don't get lost in the details. Alright, so that's the range size. And the next thing is calculation type. You can switch between volume calculation type or the TPO calculation type. This is how the TPO looks like. I've already talked about the difference between TPO and volume calculation in a previous video, so if you didn't see it, you can check it out. So let me go back to the volume calculation, which is more precise calculation. The next setting is the profile period, and this tells you for what time period the volume profile will print. So if we go for 4 hours, then every 4 hours volume profile will get printed. It doesn't look that nice on this chart, but you can change the histogram width, and let's go for 0.6. You can see that now the profile is wider and easier to read. In this case, I would also change the range size, go to small, like this. Maybe even go for a higher width and use the profile like this. Actually, the 4-hour profiles are pretty handy because you can see how the volumes get shifted throughout the day. So let's go back to the indicator settings. Now let's set it for daily. Now every day a volume profile will get printed. Alright, every day a volume profile gets printed. Next thing you can do is you can go for weekly, which means that every week volume profile will get printed. Now you can see that the volume profile is pretty wide in here. That's why you want to change the histogram width, for example, to 0.3. Maybe even to 0.15. Right, so it will look like this. You can also print the volume profile for every month or for every year. Those are handy for swing trading, not that much for intraday trading. Alright, so that's basically it. All the other settings are not something you would like to change. Those basically need to be there. It's in the NinjaTrader code. Those settings need to be there, but no need to change any of them. So that's for the fixed volume profile setting. And let's now have a look at the flexible profile setting. So let's add in the chart Trader Dale's flexible volume profile. Double click it, and I'm going to apply it to the chart. Now it's calculating. And now it's loaded, so let's press OK. And now let's draw the profile. So you go to Drawing Tool, and you go to Volume Profile region. This is how you draw the flexible volume profile. You can move it around the chart, like this. You can make it wider or thinner. You can use more flexible volume profiles. And let's now have a look at the settings of the flexible profile. So you right click the chart go to Indicators, and select the Flexible Volume Profile. Now the settings are very similar to the fixed one. There is the data period, period value, then there is the histogram color, histogram opacity, and then there's the behind bar setting, range size, and calculation type. It's the same as with the fixed profile. Alright, nothing new in here. What is quite handy with the flexible profile is then you can use those buttons to change the profile more quickly than going to the settings. So if you want to change the volume calculation, you press mode and the flexible profile will switch from volume calculation to TPO calculation. Let's go back to the volume calculation, and with this plus and minus you can set how detailed the profile will be. So if you press plus, then it will get less detailed. If you press minus, then it will get more detailed. Alright? So this is how you can quickly change the setting of the flexible volume profile. One more thing I would like to show you is how to create a hotkey for the flexible volume profile, so you don't need to always draw it like this, but you create a hotkey. So you go to the NinjaTrader Control Center, you go to Tools, Hotkeys, you scroll down a bit, and at the bottom there's the volume profile, and you create a hotkey in here for the flexible volume profile. This is my hotkey which I use, and with that hotkey I can create the profile pretty quickly, like this. The main advantage of the fixed profile, this is the orange one, is that it sort of enables you to see the big picture, the overall picture. So for example, in this screen, this is sort of intraday settings because it's a 30-minute chart. So it shows you how the volumes were distributed throughout the whole week, which is the big picture. All right, you can see that the heaviest volumes were in the center, and that the profile was a D-shaped profile, which means that there is a balance between buyers and sellers. On the other hand, you can look into any specific areas with a flexible profile to create trading levels. This is something that the fixed profile can't do. This is why you need the flexible profile. You need to look into the specific areas in the charts, and this is what the flexible profile is good for. So that's why in my trading I use combination of those two, the fixed profile and the flexible profiles. Alright, so that's for the indicator setting. When you create a workspace, don't forget to save it. So you go to Control Center, Workspaces, and you save it. Alright, so the next time you open NinjaTrader, you can easily access this setting which you saved again. Alright, so that's for the video. The next one will be about volume profile shapes and about what the volume profile tells us.